Hi guys, welcome to season 2 to Finding Happiness with Jasmine. Enjoy this episode and let me know what you think.
Hi, my name's Nicole. As a child, I was typically described as an angel. Everybody in the family knew I was the quiet one, the one that did as I was told. I just got on with everybody. I loved to laugh, I loved to play. I was a very home, family orientated child. I just loved being around my family. I remember a lot of the time, sometimes my uncles used to take me out to like some of them football practice, and some of them would take me out on their dates with their girlfriends. It's some fun stuff, but I used to love it. I used to go to the theatre and things. So yeah, I loved spending time with my family. I think as I've got older, I've understood what family means more so. As a child, you take it for granted for what you have, and you just kind of get along and do with it, and you do your schoolwork, and you make sure you get your grades and the things that you need to get to satisfy them. But as you get older, you appreciate family in a different level. They're just really supportive, loving, and we are just a real family. A really tight-knit family. In 2017, I got married. It was, an amazing wedding. People were constantly talking about it. The party was just out of this world. I love soca. And so it was very much me and my husband's style. It was our thing. It was our wedding. The wedding was beautiful. We entered into the marriage with lots of love. We faced a lot of trials during our year and a half, I think it began. Things weren't going as planned, but I kind of stuck with it until we actually got into the marriage. Certain things started to fall out of place. One of the biggest things was communication. Communication kind of diminished. I lost my friend, my best friend. Communication just was not there. It was a shock to me because I'm a communicator. I like to talk, especially to my husband at the time. I was always talking to him, and I think maybe it just got a bit too much. Maybe my talking was too much, but I don't know. And it just kind of unraveled into a lot of confusion, so that spiritually I was not where I was before. Spiritually, I put myself in a position whereby he was my God. I put myself in a position physically to always serve and submit and do as he pleased. Emotionally, I didn't understand that I was really under a lot of stress. It was only until I've come out of the marriage and we separated, the stress, the weight of the burden of the marriage, and I use the term burden because it was a burden to me and I didn't realize it was a burden. It was causing a lot of trouble. My body was coming out in boils and I didn't understand why. But the day I left, I didn't see a boil again, which was remarkable because timing was like that. In my vows, I did say, which is, I don't think I would ever say this again. I know, in fact, I know I wouldn't say this again. I gave my husband my life. And I said it because I meant it. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to give him everything. But I shouldn't have, because that's not what God wants. God doesn't want me to hand over everything to somebody that's then now ruining my relationship with him. Because God is a jealous God. He's just not going to want that. And so it's only now I've come out of it, it's like, whoa, okay, God, I'm sorry. And I'm back. I'm here now. I'm actually here now. I didn't realize that I wasn't there with you, but I am here now. So what I found then is, yes, he was meant to be my spiritual leader, and that's what I wanted. I wanted somebody that was going to be on top, let's just say. He knew the word, he loved God. That was important to me. That was one of the reasons why I chose to marry him. And yeah, but I just found that lots of things kept changing, and I would adjust it because I thought, okay, this is what he wants, and I've got to follow what he does because I'm the wife and I have to submit to him. So this is what I've got to do. So I would just naturally follow and listen, even if I did feel sometimes I was like, this doesn't really make sense. Sometimes I would pick it up to say, I'm not quite getting it. But because he was quite dominant and strong and very passionate about God, and his revelations were, to me, out of this world. Like, I didn't understand how he had all this revelation and all of this stuff. It was like, whoa, like, God. Like, God, like, I've got to listen to you. So I went with it. Unfortunately, the marriage didn't last. We separated when I was 3 months pregnant. But honestly, God sustained me. It was remarkable because prior to me separating and prior to me finding out I was pregnant, God was telling me to sort my business out. He just kept prodding me. And I said, Lord, not now, please. Like, I'm trying to deal with the marriage here and trying to rectify that. And God kept telling me, sort out your business. And I did. I just kept saying, God, not now, not now, not now. Until 3 months into my pregnancy, I had to then leave. And I was like, okay, God, I understand why you said to sort out my business. So that was my driving force, if I'm totally honest, to sort my business out, to get it off the ground, because I knew God was preparing me for something. I didn't know what it was, but I knew he was preparing me for something and protecting me. And it's funny, but the best gift that I could ever receive was actually delivered to me on my wedding anniversary. And I had to laugh, to be honest. I had to just laugh because I just thought, God, you're truly funny. You've erased that day for me. That day will no longer be my wedding anniversary. That day now will always be my son's birthday. And that in itself blew me away. I was like, God, like, what are you doing? How can you do this to me? But after I thought about it a lot, I was just like, you just eradicated that day. There's no way I can ever think about it again as this is my wedding day. This day is now my son's day. When I was going through the separation, it was very difficult. My mind was not all over the place, but I would say kind of, because I was pregnant, so I was very hormonal. I've known now that I was very emotional. So I felt a lot of heartache, a lot. However, I knew I was carrying a child. So that was my driving force to make sure I had to protect my child. I had to love my child from then. some people, I don't know when it kicks in, but it kicked in immediately for me because I knew I had a responsibility. I was a mum from the pretty much when I left. No, in fact, yeah, I would say it really, really kicked in from when I left, that I knew this is it now. I'm 100% going to be a mum, and that's it. So the emotions was, it was mixed. It was in and out. Some days it was mum, 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 mum mode, but some days it was me mode in terms of dealing with the drama, dealing with the tears, dealing with the hurt, dealing with just everything. So during the pregnancy, I started my business. The business was working with children, counseling them, generally children between the ages of 5 to 18 years old. And that was a huge, huge, huge blessing in itself. I was working in a school doing admin. I loved my team, I loved my job. However, it just wasn't giving me the challenge or the passion or what I needed to do. I just don't think it was delivering correctly. So I started the business, counseling children, because I thought this is what I need to do. And the school that I worked with supported me on that. So I thank them so, so much for that. And yeah, the business, I just saw God really take it to another level. I was pregnant, and I needed to make sure I had work ready to support myself for once I started my maternity leave. It was a tight window, but I could just say God is faithful and He's true to His word, and He delivered. And He's just helped me grow a lot. And as well, He's helped me grow in the place where I can look at myself now and understand from my story how my story has an impact on the children that I see and why I need to see them. Because when I was younger, yes, my life was, to me, was great. Like, I had a fun life, but yes, there was down moments, and those down moments is when I needed counsel, I needed that support, I needed that help. So it's driven me even more so to support children and young people, because I felt that pain. I felt that pain of loss. I felt that pain of hurt. I felt it, so I know what it's like to be in that place. So I know I'm able to help them through it. And I believe God has really pushed and nurtured me in a way to be equipped enough to build and help other children and young people to eradicate those emotions and, you know, the pain and the hurt through speaking and therapy. Yes, I've had my training and got my qualifications, which is amazing, but I didn't know that I was going to be in this place now, actually working with children and helping them to strengthen their confidence, give them strength overall, and just be able to talk, you know, have that voice and be able to say, I feel like this and I feel like that, or this hurt me because. So yeah, my business has just grown. I absolutely love it. I would never go back. Never, ever, ever. I just want to expand and touch as many children's lives as possible. Every child that I see becomes my child. And that's really important to me, because through everything that I do, I have to show love. Love is the pinnacle. Love conquers everything. And it really does conquer everything. So I know that when I enter the session, sometimes these children just need that attention, that love that they may not connect with at home. So I try and provide that, but I'm not there to replace their home life or mothers or fathers. I'm not here for that. I'm here to support and encourage them, but be someone that they can feel connected to. So within the lockdown, I was faced with an operation. I went into A&E because I just had some minor abdominal pains. So I just thought, okay, this is getting a bit weird, so I can't really walk now. So let's just go. So we went to A&E, and I had my blood test. They were saying nothing is showing. And then they said to me, but are you still in pain? I said, yeah, I am still in pain. So they said to me, you need an ultrasound. So I said, okay. So I went and did my ultrasound, and the scan showed up that my appendix looked inflamed. So they said to me, okay, we're gonna have to either take you to the ward or you can go home and come back the next day. It's up to you. What do you want to do? So I thought, you know what, I'm here. Let's just sort this out now, because there's no point in me coming back, especially during this COVID time. I don't really want to be in hospital, but let's just go with it. So I went into hospital, stayed there, and they said that I needed to remove my appendix. So that was a bit of a shocker, because I thought, oh, I didn't think it was that serious, but okay. So they said that I needed to have my appendix removed, and yeah, the operation, they said to me to wait, they'll book me in for operation and I'll go in. So I thought, okay, fine. They kept coming to me every now and then saying, okay, they're dealing with life-threatening cases. Are you okay to wait? Are you still in pain? I was like, yes, I'm fine. Deal with them first. Like, I don't want you guys rushing. I'm okay. I'm doing fine. My dad actually came to drop me some apple juice, and honestly, it was the hardest thing to not be able to touch, or it was just like hand over the drink and go. It was horrible. So with this whole thing about visiting your family in hospitals, I actually felt it and lived it. It was absolutely horrible. But as soon as he dropped it off, they actually called me up for surgery. So I got ready, went to surgery, and the lady said to me, yep, it's just a 20-minute surgery. You'll be in and out. We do this all the time. It's really quick. That's it. So I said, okay, like, you know, I feel a bit calm. It's fine. So I went in for surgery, and I actually came out 5 hours later. I didn't know it was 5 hours later. I came out and I had a mask on with oxygen and tubes going from my nose, and I was just high on morphine. I didn't understand what was going on. I was trying to communicate with my family when I got out on my phone, but it was difficult. It was very difficult. I didn't understand what was going on. So a day later, I spoke to one of the nurses, because I just didn't understand. I thought, why did I come back so late? And a few people on the ward were speaking to me saying, what happened? Like, why did you come back so late? We thought you was going to come back earlier. So I spoke to one of the nurses, and she said to me, have you seen or heard anything like what's happened? So I was like, no. And so she said, just look down in your gown and just take a look. So when I looked down, it was meant to be a keyhole surgery. When I looked down, there was just this huge plaster on my chest, on my stomach, should I say. And at that point, I was just like, oh my gosh, what has happened to me? I was lost even more so. I just couldn't understand what had happened to me. So the surgeon came to speak to me. But when I was asking him questions, he wasn't explaining. I was just like, oh, are you okay? And just trying to make it really light-hearted and friendly. And I was just like, yeah, I'm okay, like just going with it. And then once they released me and said I could go home, my parents sat me down and actually explained what had happened to me. And they explained that my appendix had burst. Yes. However, my appendix had burst a long time ago, and we don't know when it actually burst, because there was bile in my system that was now healing on my bowel. And they had to then remove part of my bowel. And the surgeons had to spend 5 hours trying to understand, one, why I was not dead already, and two, how is it healing and the bile and the blood not mixing. It was honestly. To this day, it's mind-blowing to me as to how I'm still here, most importantly. All I know is God was with me. And it's funny because prior to me going in hospital, I had a vision that I was in hospital, but I didn't know it was me in hospital. All I remember was me sitting in hospital on my laptop doing work. But when, after I finished the operation, I saw that vision and I was like, whoa, I knew I was going to be in hospital, but I didn't actually know what for or anything. Um, all I know is God was with me. And this is why it made sense why they couldn't pick it up when they were doing my blood test, that my appendix had burst, because they should have picked it up, because the blood and the bile from my appendix should have mixed to say this is what's wrong. But there was no mix, but yet there was healing taking place. I don't know. I honestly don't know, but I just have to thank God because I'm here. I wouldn't be able to do nothing because I came into hospital and it would have been, would have never come out. So all I can do is thank God that I'm here. Whew. Yeah, my whole perspective on life just flipped. I had to take time out to really think, because I came out of hospital, I couldn't carry my son. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't look after him, so I spent a lot of time by myself. So I was able to reflect and really speak to God and connect with God to understand what had gone on. And yeah, my life perspective just changed drastically. When I think of people now, I have to communicate with them. If God tells me to do something, or he tells me don't worry, I don't worry about anything no more. I do not worry. He's given me so much peace. I was able to reach out to my husband. I actually connected with his pastor first of all to speak to her, to gain understanding and reasoning and closure, most importantly. And yeah, God just given me peace and confidence. Yes, it was a painful process during this closure, don't get me wrong. It was very painful, but I'm in a different place of peace and tranquility. I can love him now completely differently as to how I loved him before. Yes, he is the father to my child, and I will always, have to respect him for that. But yeah, it's just different now. I can love with ease and peace, and that's what God wants. God wants us to love everybody. He says love your enemy. He's not my enemy, but he wants you to show love to everything, and through that love I've been able to just conquer so much. It's a hard thing to do, but I think once you set your heart and your mind to know this is what God wants, and you're living truly for God, you won't worry. You will just do it. You won't even think twice. It's just, I love God that much that I can give you everything. I just take it. Have it. It doesn't mean anything. For me now, my mission is just to fulfill absolutely everything that he's called me to do. I can't leave one thing out. I have to fulfill with the children that I meet. I have to fulfill it for my son. I have to fulfill my mission for my family. And most importantly, I have to fulfill the mission for myself. Because if I don't fulfill it for myself, I can't do it for everybody else. Yes, it's an added bonus, but I have to do it for myself, and in order for me to satisfy what God wants me to do. And that's, yeah. Finding happiness really began when I started to tell my story, when I began to tell my truth. My truth is only my truth. It's helped me to understand and propel my purpose for living. And ultimately, it's just encouraged me to just live life for God ultimately and live it to the fullest. Making sure that each and every day I'm doing the right thing. Sometimes, things may go wrong or anything, but it may not be wrong. It may be wrong in my eyes, but it may not be wrong in God's eyes. Because he may know that things may move, but he knew it was going to move. So I'm just walking in his path, in his steps. I was talking about it to myself the other day, actually, about his footprints, and just making sure I stand in each footprint and just keep going, because I know I will get to that place of fulfillment, and I honestly won't stop until I get there. As hard as it is, always show love. Showing love, like I said, it conquers all. No matter what situation you're in, find it in your heart to be genuine. And you have to be genuine with it, because it won't work otherwise. Find that love. If there's something in there, find the love, and that love will ooze out peace, strength, power, comfort, counsel. It will bring so much. In the Bible, it says love is patient, love is kind. Lean on that. Some people aren't Christian that may watch this, but lean on the principle, because at the end of the day, you will fulfill happiness from it. You will fulfill joy, and that will be my final thing to say. Yeah, definitely show love in everything you do.
Thank you so much for watching this episode. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe, and let me know what you think. Don't forget to also click the notification button for more stories. Stay tuned.